That was marvelous. You talked about all the right people. I thought you might get in trouble, though, when you were talking about that Ford 8-in tractor. It wasn't 8-in, right? That was the number on it. Because here we sit exactly, precisely halfway between John Deere and Caterpillar, and you're praising Ford. But you knew you could get by with it because the next building over, we're in the shadow of Poling Hall, named for Red Poling, who did good things for this college. He ran Ford Motor Company. Probably wasn't making Ford tractors anymore at that point. I was also delighted that you talked about Henry Ford and Thomas Edison. You probably didn't know when you wrote our speech that Henry Ford and Thomas Edison would be inside the cover of our program, kind of the symbol of the cooperation between science and business that you saw in Ford and Edison, and we did as well. The banner behind me, those of you can see it, announces a new academic era for Monmouth College. I like the sense of excitement that accompanies this bold proclamation. It reflects our audacious dreams. For Monmouth College, good enough isn't good enough. Whatever we have done before, no matter how good, we want to do better tomorrow. A trusted, longtime advisor visited the building a few weeks ago and concluded that facility was designed and built for students. And indeed it was. Of course it was. We are following in the footsteps of our founders and the hundreds of faculty and dozens of presidents who have gone before. Not dozens, the dozen presidents who have gone before. One of us here today. If they were here, and one is, they would remind us that everything at Monmouth College should be designed and built for the student. Our student focus is entirely consistent with our tie to the distinctively American tradition of residential liberal arts education. The underlying principle of our sector has always been that a handful of individuals with an exceptional education can improve the quality of life for all people. At Monmouth, we have always believed that although our graduates are few, their impact will be profound. This statement about our graduates seems a bit brash for those of us who are Midwesterners. It runs counter to our modest, egalitarian nature when we claim a very special role for our college. But I am convinced that we must be brash and bold at this time. I believe that because we are at a time when we face expansive challenges, there are far too many colleges encouraging their students to be narrow specialists. At a time when we desperately need to find common grounds, far too many graduates can't see beyond their self-interest. At a time when young people need to be identifying a noble calling, far too many are inclined to focus only on personal wealth. At a time when grain will feed the world and provide renewable energy is of utmost importance, colleges and their graduates are ignoring the fertile heartland of America. At a time when we need the best ideas of our scientists and the ability of those who understand business to implement those ideas, too many students are deciding that quantitative fields like science and business are too challenging. Contrast this to the state of affairs at Monmouth College. Few, if any, colleges have stayed so true to the educational model that has built and sustains this great democracy. Our emphasis on integrating knowledge is rare. Our focus on citizenship is important. Our desire for civil discourse is timely. Our emphasis on discerning a calling of life is special. Our location in the fertile heartland of the country is fortuitous. I am persuaded that there is no other college in the country that is better situated to improve the well-being of future generations than ours. Our graduates are being prepared to change the world. Our graduates must change the world. This building will play an important role in that process. We know the building will work because it arose from the dreams of people we know, and we know that they loved our students. Let's reflect a bit on 5 of those individuals. They will represent the many who made this building happen. I want to begin those reflections with a wine bottle. The wine bottle comes from one of the first meetings when we talked and dreamed about this building. Now, to give you a context of how long ago it was, during that meeting, Dean Jacobek and I turned to the science faculty, and only science faculty were at that meeting, and we said, what would you think if we put the business programs in the same building with you? At that time, we were planning 2 buildings. And their response was, well, as long as they don't get in our way. I hope we've come a long way since then. But my focus on this bottle isn't, and that conversation isn't on the idea of integrating knowledge, but it was really on the idea of focusing on a student-centered education. And a lot of people signed that bottle at the end of the meeting. And as I look at those, some of those people have retired, some of them have moved on. I see Jeff Draves, his name on here, he's moved on. See some other names, some folks that have passed away since then. One of those individuals who signed that bottle and played an important role in keeping our focus on the importance of the informal learning spaces in here, in that building, is here in spirit only today. As Audra said, perhaps more than anyone, Doc Keefe had a student-centered vision for this building. Although he didn't live long enough to see his dreams realized, at his passing, he left a remarkable gift from his estate. This is over and above a lifetime of work for the college. That gift will support student learning throughout the building for generations to come. The last time I spoke with Doc, I promised him that this building would be built and that his legacy would live within. So I'm pleased to announce that the 3rd floor of this building will be known as Keefe Hall. Conventional wisdom was this project was too big for Monmouth. Doubters said we would never raise $40 million for a single project. After all, we had never done anything nearly this big. It is, I think, ironic that we are confident in asking our students to change the world, but nervous when we consider lofty goals for ourselves. Fortunately, many of our graduates believed in us even as we faced self-doubts. David Burns and Libby Burns were among the first to say, yes, you can. Their remarkable gift inspired others. David's love for this college and his commitment to sharing God's love with underprivileged children around the world, and that's where he is today, will inspire generations of students who will study on the 2nd floor in what we will call Burns Hall. Some sought to delay this project until a healthy economy made the project less imposing. But our board was persuaded that this building was central to our audacious mission. For decades, graduates of Monmouth College have worked at the intersection of science and business, achieving remarkable things. Among many success stories, one stands out for me. Jerry Marksman used his keen understanding of science and his business acumen to build a better world. Jerry did well, but we remember him because he encouraged us and so many others to do good. Because he is a worthy role model for our graduates, and because we have benefited from his lifetime of generosity, the 1st floor of this building will be known as Marksman Hall. One thing that Doc, David, and Jerry had in common was a belief that dedicated, well-educated people can change the world. So it is not surprising that this building acknowledges the importance of the individual student. We will remember these 3 very special people as we study and learn inside this building. There are 2 other names that will stand out as we approach this building from our inspiring campus. Those with a discerning eye will look at the exterior and consider how it converses with the rest of our attractive and historic campus. That, of course, was the intent of the exceptional team from Stantec Architects. Sean, your team is here with you somewhere, right? And Pepper Construction. Richard, your team is here somewhere too, aren't they? Yeah, great. Did a super job on this building. Made it blend so well with the wonderful campus. And by the way, speaking of those who did work on the building, Where's Don Owen? Don, right? Everyone else got perfect weather. It didn't rain for 2 years or snow. And then it came time for the landscaping. It rained every day. Thanks for grabbing a shovel yourself and joining your workers in making this landscape come together. Thank you, Don. But back to that beauty of campus that has inspired this building, no single individual played a bigger role in creating the beauty that surrounds us than Peter Bunce. For more than 3 decades, Peter has reminded us that it's not the right time to build if we can't build it right. With remarkable creativity and generosity, he has brought us to this remarkable day. Appropriately, the gateway over here, the plaza that connects the historic and the modern portions of our campus, will be known as Bunce Plaza. Congratulations, Steve. As students rush to class in the Center of Science and Business, they will check their punctuality by looking at the shadow on the sundial that marks the entrance to Bunce Plaza. This sundial was cast in aluminum by 2012 Monmouth graduate Danica Rogers of Rochelle, Illinois. Perhaps she will have her friends join her today for a photograph beside this impressive addition to our campus lore. If she does, she will follow in the footsteps of the chair of our Board of Trustees. I understand that 48 years ago this weekend, Bill Goldsboro had a picture taken beside the sundial that has long stood in front of Wallace Hall. He admitted this morning that his main goal that day was to look jaunty. We complete the important cycle by naming the new timepiece in honor of Bill. I hope the time shown by the sun's shadow on Danica's artwork is as timely as the frequent words of wisdom and very generous gifts that have come from Bill and his wife, Beverly. Thank you so much. Bill and Peter, Doc, David, and Jerry. These are but a few of the remarkable people who had dreams big enough to create this building. Some worried that their dreams and our dreams were too big. But in fact, those dreams were just the right size for Monmouth College. Because at Monmouth, we dare to dream big so our students can pursue audacious goals. We dare to take bold steps so our students can change the world. We dare to invest in the future so our students can make it bright. Thanks to all of you.